Salutations, my fellow dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to Paper Mario. Last time we traversed through the desert, beat up a bird. Well, before that, anyways, made it to the dry outpost, and now we have our destination, which is the dry ruins. We have the pole stone, which is going to lead us there. So we're going to be working on that today. As for what I'm doing now, you're probably going to want to empty out your inventory space a little bit, which is actually what I'm going to be doing. Unfortunately, I did leave this in, so I do apologize. So quick update on what's been going on, because this is going to be pretty darn late. I've been having to take care of my cat's children for a little while. Like, they've been in my room, like all 7 of them. We're thankfully down to 3 now because we gave the other 4 nice new homes. It's just that I couldn't record with all that going on because they could be quite the chore to handle, let me tell you. Climbing all my keyboard and all that. But, no, speaking of which, there's one right now. But, like I said, you're going to want to empty out your inventory because there's a few really good items you're going to want to get in this desert before you hit the ruins. Unfortunately, the ruins is very lacking in items, but more on that later. First off, we want to deliver that letter we picked up earlier up on the roof. Another letter duty delivered. A postman's job is never done. I think I gave him a different voice. I can never keep track of the voices. What are you staring at? Anyways. Thank you for delivering. I'm surprised that you found me out here. It's extremely hot traveling in the desert, so take care. Oh yeah, take this as my thanks. Don't hesitate. Please take it. And we got another star piece. Woo! Alright, so to start off, you want to head north from where Colorado's tent was at. Then you want to hit this block. You do that, you get a mushroom. If you hit it 10 times, you'll get a super shroom. And if you hit it 100 times, which I'm going to be speeding this up, because you really don't need me to whack this thing 100 times, it's annoying. I don't know how the playback is going to be for you guys, but I just had to speed this up because you really didn't need to see this. For hitting that stupid block 100 times, you get an Ultra Shroom, which heals 50 HP. You're gonna want to have that for later. And I mean, when I mean later, I mean much later, because you don't even have that much health to really use. I think at this point we only have 20. Alright, now moving on. As long as you're using this as a guide, you should never get lost from where the treasure is. Because there are a few, besides that, there's also a couple of badges you want to grab. After I get past all these guys. There's your attack FXC. It requires no badge points, and it adds another sound effect to your attacks. Again, I would be like cutting to when I get to them, but I want to be able to show you guys where it is, so. And as for the next item, which I believe is just up here. Yeah, you're gonna go right on this little tornado guy. Okay, there's 3 badges, correction. Spin attack badge. Okay, so I didn't get to go over this yet, but now I'm gonna use this badge as a segue of sorts. So, you battle enemies to get star points, and as you level up, the star points you accumulate from enemies will decrease. For enemies that give you 3, will eventually go to 2, and then 1, and then nothing. To the point where you don't even get experience for for battles after a certain point. Like after a while, you're just fighting enemies for the sake of fighting enemies. You get no experience for it. The spin attack badge basically allows you to spin attack enemies, and it automatically just knocks them out. I don't think you don't really get any rewards for it. No coins, no items. I mean, you get 1 coin every once in a while. Now with this badge, like, it sounds awesome. The runaway badge, the runaway pay badge. So if you're fighting an enemy, if you're fighting a bunch of enemies, like one you can handle and others you can't. Like if you're close to dying, you're running low on items, but you did take out like, most of the enemies, you can run away and still get the star points from that battle, and just redo it later. So that's pretty cool. I don't think I intend to use it though. I don't think I'm gonna find it being necessary. I didn't really run away from a lot of battles during my test playthrough, except for the ones where I just couldn't be bothered to do. And that was before I had the badges to mitigate stuff like that. The spin attack badge can't help with that, thankfully. But anyways, we finally managed to gain access to these ruins, where our next star spirit lies. We're not going to be completing it during this part, but we are going to get through most of it. I believe the only thing I leave for the next part is the boss fight. But I guess considering how much time I spent doing everything else, I probably could have had the boss fight in, but that doesn't always happen. Anyways, we're heading on into the ruins. Big roar! I am the huge, scary Titan Koopa, remorseless king. Who dares set foot in this, my palace of the sands? Be gone from this place now, or disaster will befall you. Okay, well, we're gonna ignore that warning, and we're just gonna proceed. You're gonna want to get Koopa out for this, because we actually got a new enemy, and unfortunately, getting Bombette to attack getting the first strike is a little awkward. But anyways, we got Poke Mummies. They're no different than regular Poke, so they got an attack, so they got an HP of 4, an attack of 2, and a defense of 0. However, these guys like the poison. And that can be really annoying, because when you get poisoned, you take damage after every turn. Oh, by the way, here's the curse kicking in, or spell anyways. Now this will increase the attack power of my attack. Unfortunately, it wasn't very useful because I was going to win the battle anyway, so waste of spell you are. I spent 50 coins on you for nothing. But anyway, like I was saying, these guys can poison you. It's kind of annoying because you take damage after every turn. The Spike Shield badge. Now, on one hand, it does sound awesome to use because it allows you to jump on enemies with spikes. It does sound cool in concept, but I don't feel the need to use it because me personally, if I can't jump on the enemy, I always have an alternate means of attacking it no matter what anyways. That's just me though. Anyway, with Dry Ruins, it's actually, it does a little bit more than the Koopa Brothers Fortress did. Where you're just like activating switches for water and going through doors and stuff and blowing up stuff with Bombette. Here you're activating switches to fill rooms like this one with sand in order to progress. It kind of makes me think of the Desert Palace from Link Between Worlds, except it does more interesting things with sand because you're actually making the sand yourself. Or you're making the sand rise, but anyways, new enemy! Woo! We got Buzzy Beetles. They have an HP of 3, an attack of 2, and a defense of, I want to say 2. It's either 2 or 3. But, If you got fire flowers on you, don't use them. They're impervious to fire attacks. If you do explode, if you do use explosion, no, actually, no, no, never mind. Explosion, yeah, explosion attacks don't work either. I'm gonna get confused with another enemy. The clefts actually. But yeah, they're not really all that threatening. If you just if you just keep jumping on them, with Mario and letting Koopa just hit them afterwards, you should be fine. They don't have a lot of HP, and since they have to use a turn to get up, unlike the Koopas where they have to take a turn to, like, well, they take 2 turns to get up, as opposed to the Buzzy being able to take it in 1. Now, this dungeon is going to require a wee bit of backtracking, unlike the Koopa Brothers Fortress, because we're going to need a certain item if we want to progress. And the item is more of a power-up than, like, a standalone item. I'm gonna fly over this little pit over here, bring out bomb bed, blow this wall up. The music adds a sense of mystery to this place, I have to say. I'm not a big fan of the track per se, but I do love it for, like, atmosphere. I think it's really nice for atmosphere. Alright, now that we activated that switch to get the sand down, we're going to grab this key so we can progress. Open the door. Sorry, I'm trying to keep an eye on my cats while, like, I'm doing this voiceover, because one's sleeping on my leg right now and the other 2 are trying to reach for the mic, and that's kind of annoying. Okay, so unfortunately, if you want to progress through this room, you're gonna have to take out all the Pokemon mummies. They're just called poison Pokies in the next game, I believe, or toxic Pokies. So I don't know. I mean, I can understand why they're called Pokemon mummies because they come out of sarcophaguses, which is cool. Wait, why did I? Oh wait, that's right. I apologize for not editing this out, but there's a reason why I'm leaving the battle in. Because we got another new enemy in here. We got the Swooper. Now, Swooper is a very interesting enemy type because it stays on the ceiling. And you can't reach it through, like, simple means such as jumping. Parakarry is the only one that can mitigate this, where he can actually attack enemies that are hanging on the ceiling. And when you do manage to attack them off with, as they're hanging onto the ceiling, excuse me. Hold on. I'm just trying to adjust myself because these cats are being really annoying. Please ignore the background. They're probably moving stuff around. But anyways, as I was saying, the Swooper. Never finished that thought. The Swooper has an HP of 5, an attack of 2, and a defense of 0. It would just reach out and sort of like bite you or whatever. It's not all that threatening. It's just a matter of you can't attack it without Parakarry because then he'll just stay on the ceiling and become unreachable. If you have the Hammer Throw badge equipped, though, you can mitigate that with Mario as well, so that's cool. The other Quake Hammer we got her earlier in the chapter. Actually, yeah, earlier in the chapter. Yeah, the Quake Hammer will deal damage to all ground-based enemies, but it can also like knock down enemies off the ceiling. I don't know if it damages them though. I know it does in the next game, but whatever. Alright, so here's me thinking that I'm supposed to use Parakarry to get that key. I'm overthinking this. Okay, now if you see that map right there, it gives you an idea as to where all the stuff is that you're going to need. because there are 3 jewels you're going to need if you want to progress. A triangle, a diamond, and I believe it's a moon. Another power up block here. And we're going to use it on Bombette because Power Bomb is awesome. I don't actually... Unfortunately, like a dope, I don't show it off. I probably should have. Power Bomb deals a little more damage to all enemies on the ground. Only enemies on the ground, though. It can't hit enemies in the air. I believe it, at this point, it will deal 5 or 6 damage, which is pretty potent, but it's only really used for ground control, and it requires a good amount of FP to use, I believe 6. And this early in the game, you really don't want to, like, you don't want to waste that FP. Flee now while you still can if you continue. He's all this guy is freaking out for some reason. Makes it sound like he's not as threatening as he's trying to make himself out to be. Because, like, you enter this ruins, and he's, like, giving you these, like, spooky warnings that you'll meet a terrible fate or something. And then you go into this room, and he's like, don't go in there. There are bits and pieces of comedy like that throughout this game. It's not very well expressed, though, if you ask me. But then again, this is coming from someone who played the second game first. And the third game, no less. Regardless of the third game's issues. Alright, well, now that we managed to, I'm sorry, I didn't get to explain this puzzle. Whenever you step on, the color-coded switch, the stairs will essentially flip. And you have to do it, and you have to do that in order to get to this thing with the Super Hammer! And increases your attack power by 2. That's all you really need to know. And it allows you to, well, it also allows you to break those blocks. Which means we might be able to access some new areas later on. You'll never know. Speaking of new areas, we're going to backtrack over here to get our first jewel, but oh snap! We got another new enemy. This dungeon's 4 for 4. I'm impressed. Alright, so we got Stone Chomps. Oh, I do use the Power Bomb. Okay, the Stone Chomps have an HP of 4, an attack of 3 actually. Yeah, an attack of 3 and a defense of 2. You want to be careful with those guys, unless you're like me and you use the Power Bomb, then you should have no problem. Just like the bomb attack, you just rapidly press the A button, but those Stone Chomps can they can be pretty nasty. Dealing 3 damage at this point in the game is nothing to scoff at, especially if it happens to you a multitude of times. Now, that's the artifact. We're not going to be able to do anything with that now, but if you recall, Colorado was looking for something of the sort, so might be good to bring it back to him. I was trying to get the first strike and I sort of messed it up. See, I just walked into him like an idiot. It's like I could have just dropped Bombette there, and she would have just walked off the platform and just blew him up. No problem at all. Now this is the point where I did get a little lost. I'll give this dungeon credit. Like the first actual dungeon, it is easy to get lost in, but that's unfortunately because everything kind of looks the same. Those chain chomps are actually pretty important. You're gonna have to remember those, because that's where we're gonna place these jewels once we get all 3. As for the last one, well, that's what this room is for. Because now we can go down there and progress to the next room. Now, once Parakarry gets out of my darn way, I can actually show off the order that the jewels are supposed to be in when you get them all. So it's Triangle, Diamond, and Moon. So Spoiler alert, I messed this order up somehow. I get the moon part right, but I somehow mixed the triangle and the diamond up. When I could have easily just, like, backtracked to that room just to remember. Also, I get a level up. Woo! And I think this is where I equip damage dodge. I don't remember, though. Because I love damage dodge so good. It reduces the amount of damage you take when you guard even further. So instead of reducing it to by 1 damage, you reduce it by 2. So if they're doing 3, they only do 1. Awesome. Yeah, like I said, I messed this up. I don't know why I didn't remember that. that was silly of me. Again, I got the moon part right, but I don't know how the heck I forgot the triangle and the pyramid one. The pyramid, the diamond one. I'm sorry. I didn't have that issue during the test playthrough, so I don't know what the heck was going through my mind then. And now we've got access to the basement. Woo! Oh, I like how the music changed for an Oh, well, yeah, the music changes since you gain access to this area. Since we're at the bottom. This is your final warning. Enough of this foolishness. Leave at once. We'll leave later because we're done for this part. So next time on Paper Mario, we're gonna see who this Tutton Koopa is and why he keeps sending us these warnings, and hopefully get the next Star Spirit. So until then, I got a juice.